Hello, everybody. How are you going through all the craziness that's been going on? I'm gonna tell you how it was in my side of the world, Romania, Southeastern Europe. And we've been having, like, the entire country is looking at the topic of sexuality. Go figure. Brief. During our quarantine, the parliament amended a law for child's protection to include the mandatory sexual education classes one time per semester. That was it. When the parliament voted the amendment to that law, and then the president had to promulgate it, the entire country blew up, basically. And since April 4th until today, and it's, June 6th, we have been going crazy. And then there's been another movement in the parliament to make only optional the topic of sanitary education. And you can teach this in schools. It's not exactly clear who yet, but you have to teach it with the consent of the parents. And again, the entire country blew up. And I'm watching my Facebook feed exploding with a lot of news about abuse, minor to minor abuse in the country. A lot of ordeals that are happening with young girls who don't really know anything about menstruation, hygiene, contraception, protection from sexually transmitted infections, a lot of this stuff. And I'm seeing people sharing status posts from teachers in schools that are being asked by their pupils, what is rape? What is abortion? What is menstruation? And I live in the capital of Romania, and this is a European capital. We are members in the European Union, so it's this city, unlike a lot of other places in the country, it's allegedly, but only allegedly, more educated. The pragmatic and palpable and concrete reality disputes that to the bone. But yeah, so I'm watching also people sharing. We have a lot of, our local, national vloggers and influencers and all that stuff. And this video, a 2-year-old video, came up or resurfaced, basically. It was made by a guy who was trying to get his audience higher, and he was doing statements that were shocking. And one time he told a story about how he saw a young girl, minor, which was showing a lot of body parts, or she was exposing a lot of her body, and he could see clearly everything. And then he made a lot of aggressive and rape-like statements after that, so in his show, basically. And at the time, not too many people commented against that. But nowadays, we have a lot of new vloggers and influencers who are fighting back and saying, yo, dude, you gotta get healed, gotta get treated, gotta change jobs and everything. So, yeah, and in terms of sexual education, we have a lot of people in the highly religious communities or pro-traditional family that are opposing the concept of education around the topic of sexuality, because they claim that we're going to lose the innocence of our children and that the messages are confusing and that they are not healthy in sexual education. And then there's the other side where I also find myself more, I identify better with that side. Education shouldn't be just around sexuality, it should be around health. And there are many aspects aside from sexuality. So it's a more broad or a larger scope of topics here, a larger number of disciplines, psychological, nutritional, health-oriented, a lot of them, physical education and so on. So communication, handling conflict. So there are many things aside from what happens to your anatomy, the differences between men and women. I got a bird here close to me. I got so scared. Yeah. So yeah, basically this side of the discussion is presenting a more complex and a much broader approach to education for children. And they also adapted to their age. But, you know, they're facing the opposition, the side that I mentioned earlier, pro-traditional family, against abortion, against sexual education done in schools, and so on. So the entire country, as I said, blew up in the past few weeks. It's been more intense, but for 2 months now, the country blew up. And from my side, I'm really considering, like, this is a huge opportunity for our country because we didn't have sexual education. And a lot of, like Romania, for instance, on this topic, we have the largest or the highest number, the biggest number of minor mothers, so children giving birth to other children, because they're exposed to pornography, mainstream entertainment, and so on. And there is a highly hookup culture raging out there. And 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds that can already, they have menstruation. Guys are already, boys, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, yes, they are, from a biological perspective, they are ready to reproduce. That doesn't mean that psychologically and emotionally they are ready for this, and intellectually. No, but it happens. And the fact that we see this, and our country has the largest number of minor mothers. Sexually transmittable diseases are also pretty high here, and sexual health is getting your checkups and everything. This is alien in our country. Many people don't, not even blood tests, let alone sexually reproductive tests, I don't know, sexual health tests, basically, or checkups. None of that. I mean, yeah. So seeing all of this perspective, I'm really and honestly considering, in all this chaos, there's opportunity to make things right. And I was wondering, you know, what if, because right now we don't have people, there's no, not yet a program for education around sexuality. And then there's also the topic, who's going to educate? It's not the biology or the chemistry teachers, because they're not trained for that. Somebody needs to be trained, especially for education around health, with all the complex perspectives of health education. So I'm considering, okay, would I ever want to teach, get, you know, certified as a teacher in high school or elementary school or what is it? Middle school, I don't know what it's called in English. So would I ever consider teaching for any of these group categories, the programs that are adapted to these age categories? And I was thinking, yes, I would like to do that. I mean, you know, our country's in chaos, and I'm like oriented towards solutions. So, but I think in our country there are a few people who are really focused on what can I do to help things get better. A lot of people get shocked, a lot of people get stunned, a lot of people present problems, a lot of people present what they would do, but few people would actually be part of the goddamn palpable and concrete and actual solution. So yours truly is considering right now, because there's not yet a setting for this, but I'm considering to become a sexual, health education teacher. I don't know if that is going to happen in the near future. I don't know who and how are the people that are going to get trained, but I'm definitely considering this. So that's how I've been spending my last few days, and I've been documenting a lot of the material that is out there. I'm also going to write a post with a lot of resources. Some of them cover not just Romania. They cover the United States, and next to Romania, there are more other countries. So there's this religious group that originated from the United States, and it spanned on multiple places on the planet. So it got out of the American continent, by the way. And it reached us also, and this is a Netflix documentary. Anyway, if you want to research that, it's called The Family, and you find it on Netflix. And yeah, I watched that. It took a while for me to watch it and digest it and so on. But anyway, I'm still documenting. So there are still many things that I'm learning because I got to go, go back and see what other people have done before me. Organizations, educational programs, health programs, and so on. And it's not easy, to get up to date because I was doing environmental protection for many years. I was activating in a different field, and now I have to catch up with this one. So that's how I've been spending my days. And also I've been very exhausted, I gotta say, watching what happens in the US right now with the Black Lives Matter movement. It wears you down, or at least me. I mean, I'm not indifferent. And I know that I had the same kind of emotional and nervous exhaustion when I first became aware 2 years ago of what happened to Native Americans. In my case, it was focused a lot on the Northern America, and especially on the United States of America. But these things have happened in Central America, Southern America. So the American continents were built, sadly, on racist foundations. They were birthed from racism. And that's a deep goddamn wound. So yeah, I'm watching that. I mean, I'm living in the 21st century, so I want to stay connected to everything else that happens, not just my field. And it's pretty hard, I gotta say. It's pretty hard to digest. Especially that I've lived my entire life in a white community. I did not know of many things that, I'm just waking up and seeing what happens on other places of the world. And I know that when I first became aware of what happened to Native Americans, I was crying day in, day out. I watched some, not just documentaries, but also movies with Native Americans. And it was, man, I was crying like hell. My friends at the time were like, what are you doing? What is that to you? Why are you doing this to yourself? And now I'm seeing it all again with African Americans, Black people. Yeah, tough. But anyway, these have been my days, and I'm gonna stay positive. I'm gonna stay oriented to solutions. I gotta stay true to my nature and to the way I'm built. I do stuff. I take action. I dedicate myself to becoming part of the solution. And I'm glad that at least in my country, 4 years after I have begun my work, the topic of sexual education is mainstream. It's screaming in our face. And yeah, I'm part of the solution. And this is the only thing that keeps me sane. So I hope that you guys, no matter where you are on the planet, if you're watching this on YouTube, I have more international subscribers than on any other of my platforms. And I'm super excited about that. I want an international feel, influences, and so on. If you're watching this on IGTV, then yeah, it's kind of mixed there. But a lot of the Romanian followers, I need to call them out. They are super quiet. It's like Romanians barely say something, man. They just stay there and they comment in the background probably, or behind scenes. A lot of the people that interact on my page, not all, but a lot, are foreign. What can I say? I hope we Romanians get more balls and guts to stand up and speak about topics like health and sexuality, and why not racism, because how else are we going to change? I mean, we got to get out of this swamp, right? And it doesn't happen in any other way but with us doing something, talking about it openly, expressing an opinion, or asking a question, but publicly. There's no shame, Our country is super passive from many perspectives. So anyway, my salutes to all people that are in the United States and that you're in the middle of all that craziness. My thoughts and my prayers and my energy goes to you also. I really hope this will have a positive outcome in the end, and racism will be one step closer to not being an issue and being over, basically, or even, why not, over completely, if that thing is possible on planet Earth. And I hope everybody here finds a way to become part of a solution. Concrete, healthy, constructive, universally comprehensive solution. In sexuality, in racism, in environment, in whatever, in healthcare, wherever you are, be part of the solution, man. I mean, I hope at least I get to transmit that to you. So yeah, that's it. It's been a long video. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you with other videos. Ciao.